Hey everybody, today's lesson is what you're going to present to me in this first week as one of the finals that I will assess, and that is how to break down a whole chicken. I'm going to show you how to break it down, I'll go over the different parts, I'll even show you how to debone some of it. So, to start, here's your bird. You've got its wings, its breasts, its legs, its thighs. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to start up on the top, and underneath this you just have the cartilage of the bird. I'm going to make one slit right here, and when I do that, my knife will always either go to the left or the right of the carcass. On this side, it went to the left. So now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the tip of my knife, because I have more control with that, and I'm going to slide it along the carcass, very slowly, and I'm going to start to slowly peel that meat back from the carcass and open it up. And try to keep as much meat as I can on the breast and not on the carcass. Now once I get to this point, I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a little incision. And then I'm going to take the bird and I'm going to pop this bone from the carcass on the thigh. And there it came out right there. And that'll allow me to give me a place where I know I need to cut. And when I do this though, there's a little piece of meat that's up underneath here. It's called the oyster. And I'm going to make sure that I keep that in there. So I'm going to cut back through here. And I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to kind of scoop under, right under there, so I get that oyster out. That's another good little piece of meat. So that is now separated it there. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to feel with my finger, and in between here is another one of those bones, and this is the wing bone that's attached to the carcass. What I want to do is I want to cut right through that, right in between. Tip of my knife, there it is, and that is going to separate that from the carcass. So now I just cut straight through, and you have half a chicken. Half the chicken, also known as a spatchcock. Now, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. With the other side, it's a little bit trickier because you've lost the weight of one of the sides of the bird, so he leans a little bit. Be careful. Start here with the knife. Peel it back again, just against the carcass. Open it up. I'm going to try it again so you can see it a bit better. Again, I'm exposing it, keeping as much meat as I can on there. Coming down in here, and I'm going to pop that bone again. There it is. That's where I will cut. I'll go up under so I get that oyster. Again, right here. That's the spot to cut to separate it out. There's the carcass, and now you have another half of chicken. From here, you can do a couple of things, depending on what you want to do. Now I'm going to cut it right in half through the skin. Now I have my thigh and my leg. Now if I was going to keep this as is, I'd probably trim off a little bit of this fat, like so. Get rid of that. Now, if I wanted to, say, debone the thigh, or to split this in half, I'm going to, the bone goes from here to the leg, and I'll open it up a bit so I can see the bone, and I'll work my knife along the bone, up underneath, and come up under there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the bone. As you use the tip of the knife, you're going to be able to feel exactly where the bone is. Now, you can see here, there's the bones exposed. I'm going to slide my knife up underneath. And there you have the other end of the bone. Now, I'll scrape it a bit. Keep that meat on there. And then again, you're going to find that little part in between where it's attached to the leg, just like we did on the other one. And I'm going to snip it right through. There's your leg. And there's a deboned chicken thigh. A little bit of cartilage on there that we'll clean up. And there you have a deboned chicken thigh. You could unroll it a little bit, roll it up with something, whatever you like. There's your leg. Now the bones we're going to keep, put that inside the carcass, and I'll explain that down the line. Now we got the other half here. I'm going to take off the chicken tender. Straight on down, and there's your tender. And then here again, this is the wing that I'm just going to separate from the breast, like so. Now you have your breast. You can keep the skin on, trim it up a bit if you wanted to. Look for any little cartilage, which there isn't any really here. Piece right there. There you have your chicken breast. For the drumlet and the wing, I'm going to keep those, put them inside the carcass as well, because we're going to make stock out of that, and I'll show you how to do that later. And the gelatin inside of the wings has a lot of, the cartilage and the gelatin inside of the wings will make for a nice gelatinous stock. And then there's your other half. Depending on what you want to do with it, you have a half a chicken. I'll show you this one once again real quick, a little faster. Get rid of a bunch of extra skin. You don't want the skin because it's just going to add too much fat to your stock. Find that bone in there and separate it. Leg, thigh with a bone in. Again, you could also cut down through the wing and the the drumlet, crack that open there so you have the cartilage, and you could also keep that on there. That in America we call as an airline breast because it kind of looks like an airline. Here it's called a Maryland in Australia. Remove that tender, and there you have another way to do a chicken. Keep the wing goes for stock. That is how to break down a chicken. Many different ways, forms, pieces to use, how you want to cook it. But this will be part of what you guys will have to do at the end. That's it.